What evidence, both logical and empirical, would point a thinking person toward the biblical view? Dr. Weldon answers.
It's interesting that those who research poltergeists don't give a lot of credence to the demonic theory. In other words, that poltergeist manifestations are in fact the manifestations of demons. But when you look at individual poltergeist cases, you find that only the demonic theory adequately explains all poltergeist cases. Certainly, the kinds of things a poltergeist do cannot be explained by some kind of psychic or psychokinetic power in adolescents or other people. And certainly, biblically speaking, we can't explain poltergeists as contacting the human dead, because the Bible is very clear that the unsaved dead are confined in punishment and that the saved dead are with Christ. So there's no possible basis for the human dead to be making contact with the living. The only really credible option that we have is the demonic theory. And when we look at that, we see that that is what really explains the phenomena of the poltergeist. I think it's very interesting that traditionally the poltergeist has been associated with witchcraft and demons, and that even some psychical researchers who personally do not believe the demonic theory nevertheless state that it certainly seems to make a lot of sense.
Now in a moment we're going to ask the question, should Christians be involved in Halloween and dress up their children in costumes of ghosts? But before we do, what difference does it make? Why is it even necessary to assign a supernatural cause to ghosts or poltergeists?
Now obviously things like this can't be explained on the basis of some kind of human psychic power. If we look at the compilation of poltergeist works in English over the last 100 years by Michael Goss, this is a compilation of 1,100 different books on poltergeists, we find that there are things like showers of stones, earth, mud, sticks, fruit, and shells, that objects such as furniture can be thrown across rooms, that small objects may disappear, that bedclothes, linen garments, and curtains may be torn, slashed, or set on fire, that electrical equipment may malfunction, phones may ring off and on, there are footsteps that are heard. There's all kinds of bizarre manifestations that can only have a supernatural source.
Well, now let's get down to it. If there's empirical evidence from parapsychological research that is taking place in our universities today that poltergeists are supernatural phenomena, the only question is, what interpretation do you put upon it? Who or what are the ghosts, the poltergeists? Why are they manifesting themselves? Well, I asked Professor James Bjornstad to answer that question, as well as, should we be concerned about ghosts in our scientific era? Here's his answer.
Should we be concerned about ghosts? My answer to that would be yes. In fact, my answer would be yes if you came at it from the viewpoint of spiritualism, because there are many, many cases where spiritualists have said these are nothing more than the souls of departed people, only to find out that the spirits have hurt the people, have tried to kill them. And so I would argue that if you think that this is nothing more than the dead that have come back, it is extremely dangerous even from that viewpoint. And the reason that I think it is because spiritists misunderstand the phenomena. It's not the dead that are returning, it is demons that impersonate the dead. In fact, when I think of the word medium in the Old Testament, it's interesting that the word itself is constructed out of a phrase Baalat O. And Baal would be master, but here we have a feminine form, mistress of an Ov, an ungodly spirit. We're not talking about communication or a person that's a go-between the world of the dead and the world that is here. We're talking about demons, ungodly spirits that impersonate the dead. So these are very dangerous things from God's viewpoint. Harmful to humankind. They do everything that they can in order to be opposed to God and to try to destroy His kingdom.